So obviously Josh Allen, absolutely awesome, coming off an MVP season. This gets into the conversation of really what do you do backing up a quarterback like that? And for quite some time now, we've pretty much seen it be somebody that Allen's close with. For a while, it was a veteran mentor, that type of thing he doesn't need anymore. I'm cool with it being a friend in the room. I've been a pretty big proponent for a while of using some later round draft capital to invest into a guy with some tools and see what happens. And interestingly enough, I think that was the Joe Milton game when we played the Patriots week 18. And it was somebody that you'd expect very little from and not much for expectations, and circumstances mattered, playing backups and whatnot, but dude looked nice. And you get a few games like that on film, and worst case scenario, you had a backup quarterback that you invested very little in, and maybe in whatever 2 years somebody gets desperate for a quarterback and you flip them for a higher draft pick. And I think that's the type of thing that could happen with the Bills with all of the offensive infrastructure. A guy could come in for some garbage time or whatever and put some stuff on tape and turn some heads. But as it stands now, obviously coming out of last season with Mitch Trubisky and Mike White, and nothing really much to report on with these guys. They played very limited snaps throughout the season, mostly some garbage time, hand the ball off, take some knees. But the interesting layer here, I think, is the extension that Mike White got done towards the end of this past season. To me, it kind of spells the end for Mitch Trubisky. There's no need to spend cap there. You already have Mike White. And I assume a third quarterback will be added. Maybe it will be just that somebody through the draft that has some sort of tools that we might be able to build on. My guess is it'll end up being some sort of bargain bin free agent, run the scout team, and kind of par for the course that we've seen. But I will say there was the year that we drafted Jake Fromm in the 5th round, and that never really amounted to anything. But perhaps the vision was there of this being a system that they wanted to bring a guy in, see if you can develop him a little bit. Cheap contract. If they develop it all, maybe you get to the end of their contract there, towards the end of it, and you're like, cool, we still got Josh Allen. Flip you for a pick somewhere. So I think it's interesting that that strategy of at least taking a flyer on a guy existed at some point. Maybe it's something we'll see again.